Good morning, guys. We're heading off. Excited to see what we pick up. All the veggies, right, babe? Go ahead and try it. Tomatoes. I am loving it. Actually, wait to add it when I'm actually gonna eat it. I don't think anyone will ever understand how much this reminds me of my mom. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Millie and I am so excited for the next month or so because I am planning on doing a little series here on my channel on going plant-based in the year of 2022. So the video ideas include topics such as like, is plant-based expensive? The way that I stock up my pantry, how you can stock up your pantry if you're going plant-based, tips that would be helpful for you if you are just starting out. And even I think that those who have been plant-based for a while can maybe take a little bit of something from the videos that I'm going to be posting and sharing with you all, because we could always be reminded of just tips that can help each and every one of us to just make this lifestyle easier and simpler for us to be able to live joyfully and happily. And as we dive into this video, I'm going to be drinking some coffee in my Thessaloniki mug. Now, quick story before we start off. So shortly after we got married, we went on a school trip through our university, and we got to go to so many different places following the life of Paul. And so I picked up this mug at Starbucks, and it's one of my favorites and I will never get rid of it because it brings back so many memories. But today's video is going to be on the topic of, is plant-based expensive? I totally remember that when I was looking into plant-based eating or just vegan eating, I was totally thinking that it was going to be really expensive, because it totally sounds, and it could come across as, a very entitled way of eating. At least at the moment, that's how I saw it. Because when I heard of vegan or plant-based, I thought that that meant that you were eating all these vegan processed meats and vegan specialty food. I was thinking of like vegan mayo, like everything that I used to eat on a standard American diet, and just turning it vegan basically. So, and at the start of my plant-based journey, I didn't know much. I didn't know what the difference was between a vegan diet and a whole foods plant-based diet. And so I wasn't so sure. And gradually, as I began to kind of learn more and realize like what a actual healthy whole food plant-based diet was, that was when I began to notice how inexpensive it actually was to go plant-based. So if you are new into this lifestyle or just looking into it, which I highly encourage you that you try it out, you might have that same question: is it expensive? And the plain answer is no, but it definitely can be. And it all depends on if you choose to include more processed foods in your diet, but you can also include them in your diet as long as it's not the bulk of your diet, because that will definitely just bring down the cost as well. All right, so I'm going to lay down with you a few reasons why you're going to be able to see that this lifestyle is not expensive. So for example, my husband and I together, we spend a total of $300 per month on groceries. That includes snacks, that includes if I want to buy extra beverages like LaCroix or something like that, or even if I want to buy my friend something that's like food related, that will go under groceries. So I know for some that might seem like a stretch, but it totally isn't, because we actually get so much food with just those $300. Now, one of the key factors here with plant-based being like inexpensive and being a fairly healthy and cheap way of eating is also being mindful of setting a budget. If you just go into the store, for example, without any idea of how much you are allowing yourself to spend, then you're going to probably spend more as you go through the different aisles. Then you're just going to be adding stuff to your basket that you don't necessarily need. So I highly encourage you guys to kind of think of a budget for your family, what will work for you, whether you have 2 people or maybe you have 4. So depending on where you shop, your grocery bill will either increase or decrease. So that really matters. Where you shop really affects your grocery bill. So I love stores like Aldi. So my second favorite store is actually Walmart because they are also fairly inexpensive. But finding your store that you can rely on to stay in budget is really helpful. So now I'm going to go through a list of items, and these are items that plant-based eaters like you and me, why these items are fairly inexpensive and why a plant-based diet as a whole can be inexpensive. So one of the main things that I eat all the time, my husband and I eat it almost like every day I think, is rice. Now if you go to the rice section of your grocery store and you just look and compare the prices of different rice items, you will go ahead and you will find that per serving of a large bag of rice, a 10-pound bag, a 20-pound bag of rice, is fairly inexpensive per serving, and it will last you just about the entire month. So you have for many different meals that'll feed your family and will give you a lot of nutrients. So let's move on. So one of the biggest staples of protein in a plant-based diet are beans. We all love beans. Well, most of us do. I'm pretty sure there's a couple plant-based people who either can't digest beans or for whatever reason they just don't like beans. But we eat a lot of beans in this home. And that is a huge staple of our diet. And sometimes we just find ourselves eating literally rice and beans and salsa, and that's about it for a meal. Look at the price comparison of just so many different beans. You have so many choices, many different colors, and they all taste kind of different as well. Then you can go ahead and compare the prices, and you could see that for a large bag of beans you can pay such a small price for them. Just look at the difference. Just look at it. It's pretty amazing. So it doesn't have to be expensive necessarily to eat a plant-based diet, and the same would go, for example, for lentils. Now, there are those types of, I guess, more fancier lentils, or maybe even fancy beans or fancy rice or whatever. But as a whole, most of these items, most of these staple items on a plant-based diet are not that expensive. All right, another thing on that list I would say is your vegetables. Now, if you go to the grocery store and you just get enough vegetables of what you need, then you will notice that they're actually very inexpensive. Now, there are those fancy fruits or even maybe fancy vegetables that are, a little bit pricier, but as a whole, if you look at the variety of vegetables and you compare them to like even a bag of Cheetos, a bag of chips, or even like a package of meat, you will see that the price of the vegetables is actually fairly inexpensive. I know that if I go to Aldi, for example, usually they have a 3-pack bag of zucchini that I could get for $1. Or sometimes I could even see bell peppers, the tricolor bell peppers, on sale for, I think it's like 3 for $2.97 when they're on sale. And potatoes, a large bag of potatoes could be anywhere from like $2 to like at the most $3.50, I've found, at least at certain stores. You can definitely find vegetables that are more affordable, and another helpful thing will be if you shop your vegetables in season. That will definitely just lower the cost and keep plant-based eating, your plant-based grocery list, less expensive. All right, so something else that is fairly cheap is pasta. So now a big box of pasta, you can get it for $1.95, and it could make a large batch. One of the things that I like to do is on the weekend, I'll make a large batch of pasta, whether it be like a pesto pasta or a lemon pasta or things like that. And then I just make a large batch of it, and it stays pretty good almost for like 4 days in the fridge, no problem. And yeah, it's fairly inexpensive. So for $2 of pasta, you have like meals. Of course, you could add in your vegetables, but nonetheless, it's fairly inexpensive. One of the main things that I enjoy about a plant-based diet is spicing up your food. Now, if you head over to Walmart, you can get spices, like tons of them, and almost all of them are like $1 each. So you can go ahead and stock up your spice drawer. You can go ahead and just buy lots of spices to flavor your food, and you can just make a variety of different foods with different flavors. I know that this is a short list, But overall, these are the actual staples that we eat. We eat beans, grains, vegetables, fruits, and processed foods if you want some. What other category am I missing? I might be missing another category, but I can't think of it at the moment. But basically, your main food groups that you eat on a plant-based diet are pretty inexpensive. And like I said, it's mainly the processed food, like your vegan cheeses, your vegan sausage, your Beyond Meat, types of items that are typically a little bit more pricey than, you know, the main staple whole plant foods. So now I'm going to go through a list of things that you could opt for if you are trying to minimize your budget even further and make this plant-based life even less expensive. So for example, you can opt for home-cooked beans over canned beans. You can go for home-cooked rice over the prepackaged microwave-ready rice packets that they sell at the store now. One of my favorite things to do is to buy this Better Than Bouillon vegetable base. Having this has saved me just so much money, because I have noticed that buying, you know, like your vegetable broth in a package, it's like $2. And with this, I just put a teaspoon or two in soups and stuff, and I'm good to go. And it says right here, it has 38 servings. So it lasts me a really long time. So I could buy one a month, one every 2 months, and I'm good to go. And I don't have to worry about stocking lots of boxes of vegetable broth, because I don't have room. I live in a tiny house, so it's just more convenient and cheaper to have this on hand. All right, so another thing that you could switch is instead of getting your packaged oats in a big bin at the store, you can go ahead and head to Whole Foods, and there they actually have a big bulk section, and you can get like a huge bag of oats. And I find that it's cheaper to get them there than it is to get the big box. And we eat oats like every single day, and yeah, I mean, it's still fairly inexpensive for an easy, quick breakfast. All right, so another thing that you could do is you can use frozen vegetables, frozen fruit over fresh vegetables and fruits. Now, they are packed at the peak of freshness, so you do not have to worry that the nutrients or whatever is in them is going to be compromised. Nope, nope, nope. They are packed at peak, so don't worry about that. You're still gonna get all the good stuff by buying frozen. And I have found that that's just a good way to save money, but also save time, because instead of having to chop up 4 different kinds of vegetables, they're all in one bag, and that just saves you time, and that is awesome. And I'm so happy that now I found a way to enjoy them. So that is such a great way. And not only that, but your vegetables won't go to waste, and you won't have to worry about throwing them away because they're frozen and they could last in the freezer for a really long time. So that is a great way to keep your plant-based diet inexpensive. It doesn't have to break the bank. All right, so that wraps up today's video. I hope that I answered the question, is plant-based expensive? It doesn't have to be. You can definitely make it expensive if you choose it. I appreciate all of you guys so much. I'm so thankful for all the sweet messages that I get from you guys over on Instagram. If you haven't followed me over on there, then you can go ahead and follow me. I will link that down below for you. And sure, please don't forget to leave your questions down below. I want to do a Q&A for any people who are just starting off on a plant-based diet, and if I could be of help by answering some of your questions, I would love to. So go ahead and comment down your questions down below. And that is it for me. I will see you guys in the next one.